Hey folks, I'm Curtis, and this channel is dedicated to a weird hobby I have. Basically, I'm a hoarder. Or if you want to be more charitable, you could call it being a serial hobbyist. Basically, I just do so many different kinds of things that I end up with a bunch of random nonsense items that I eventually want to get around to doing something cool with. It might take years, but eventually I'll get it done. The problem here is that over years of finding random crap, I start running out of space, and I seem to never get around to it. When I say I'm a hoarder, it's only kind of a joke. Here are some images of just how bad it can get. I guess I just need more incentive to do something with it. So I made this channel kind of as a secondary purpose so I have more reason to get it done. This channel is me getting around to it. Kind of recently, I started lifting weights, which has been great. I knew before I started that I wanted to work out at home because any kind of commute would reduce the likelihood that I follow through on my fitness goals. I don't have a ton of money, so I went to Facebook Marketplace to buy the weights. After browsing a bit, I came to see that I could pretty reliably get steel plates for about $1 a pound, so I set that as the baseline price that I was willing to pay. I bought up all the ones I could find within that price range, noticing that a lot of times I would get a loadable dumbbell or barbell with the purchase, with no additional cost over the $1 per pound that I was willing to pay for the plates. One purchase included an entire weight bench with a leg extension add-on. It was a pretty solid unit too. It had a bit of rust on it from being used in a basement, I guess, so I cleaned that all up and gave it some paint to seal it back up. I already had a foldable bench and a separate rack that I purchased new a while ago, but I set this one up and gave it a shot. It seemed good, but I didn't like how I couldn't just slide the bench out of the way to free up some space for other exercises. So I decided to keep the one I already had and asked my friends if they needed one. They all said no, so I put it up for sale for $50. It sold within a couple of days. Now, for reference, I paid $200 for 200 pounds of steel weight plates, a bunch of bars, and a weight rack altogether. Since I was only really looking for the plates, in my mind, I reduced the cost per pound of plates to 75 cents and got a bunch of free stuff. It was awesome. That previous success I had with the weight bench sale got me thinking. If I can buy something I like, get value from it, and retroactively improve the price on that item, surely there's no reason I couldn't do it again. If I get good at it, maybe I can reduce the initial price in advance and increase the value obtained from it after the fact. Drawn to its logical conclusion, I may be able to get things for free and in some way get value from them again. It doesn't have to be monetary either, any form of value will do. This is me gradually figuring out the concepts of upcycling, buy low, sell high, and one man's trash is another man's treasure all in one go. I should say that these aren't new concepts for me, as I've been doing essentially the same thing for years. I had just never really put them together in this way before. When I moved across the country many years ago, I ended up living in a tiny little bachelor apartment with no room to move around once the furniture was in. I had a futon, a bed, a dresser, and a fairly large living room table, all of which were secondhand and mismatched. Because I had so little horizontal space in the bachelor apartment, I thought to myself that I should really start using the vertical space. My solution was to combine my bed and dresser to create a loft bed with storage beneath it. Please accept this very good animation of how I did it. Yeah, that looks pretty much like how it went, but this is closer to how it actually looked. I built a stud wall the same height as the dresser and framed it across like a floor. Here's a picture of me reinforcing the dresser since I didn't think that shabby old thing would be able to handle the weight. I assume it's a bad way to wake up when your loft bed dresser wall collapses. Any storage area needs shelving, so I went down to the thrift shop and found a plain shelf that was shorter than my dresser to put under the loft. It worked really well, except that I couldn't see anything. The bed blocked my only light. So I got a clip-on shop light and put it under there. Eventually, I got rid of the futon and used the wood frame to build a guardrail for the loft bed. You can kind of see it in the background of this picture. The bed was kind of hard to climb into just because it was a little bit tall, so I made a set of stairs to get up there, leaving a tunnel underneath to access the storage below. Of course, it's a path to a bed, so it has to be comfortable, right? I thought so I upholstered them. If I recall correctly, this coincided with me having two different sofas fall into my lap. One of them was brown microfiber, but it was already broken, so I used the back fabric to upholster the stairs. What I ended up with was a unique and hideous piece of furniture that I loved for years. It was a fun experience that neither my wife nor I will ever forget since I had just recently met her when I started that project. Now, years later, I miss the adventure of mashing up barely useful items in ways that give me more value than they did before. I'm here to share my new adventures with you. Feel free to stick around, enjoy some music, and look at some more past projects. I hope you enjoy, and welcome to Get Round to It.